Also,
He's
Peter
like, Aladdin,
Molyneux.
what is your first wish? Might I suggest Fortnite?
And Mark asks proudly.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Extremely Lowbudget Podcast. Very important that we number this one. This is number 16.
Why is that very important?
It's not very important. It's just every time Dalton's here, we we make a big deal about it. Although Dalton is not here today. The only three that are here today are, can you guess it? Who's that Pokemon? It's Alex.
Oh, I thought you didn't have funny names.
That wasn't a funny name. And along with Alex is Derek and myself, Kyle, once again getting our all scenes in order achievement.
All seen? I mean like perfect attendance.
I'm pretty sure in GTA, when the initial heist update came out, it was like there were 5 of them that you could do, and you had to do them all in order, and it would give you an achievement. I'm pretty sure it was called the all scenes in order achievement.
Weird.
And for some reason, that's just stuck with me. Ever since I saw it and could never obtain it because everyone wanted to do them out. So, that's where that comes from.
Nice.
This week, we will be, let me try that again. This week is Rewind Time. And we're going to be talking about the best and worst movies of 2018 that we all saw. We did not see every movie of 2018.
Yeah, we did. We saw all of them. If your favorite movie's not on this list, this is an objective list. It's not our opinions. So that just means you like bad movies. Because we did see it. If it's like the most obscure movie of the year, we did see it.
Yeah, I spent $10,000 in watching movies this year.
Yeah.
I'm bankrupt. I'm in debt.
So this is going to be a bit of a quick fire episode. We are not going to give a movie really more than 5 to 10 minutes of time on this because
Hopefully.
There's plenty to talk about. And a lot of the movies that we saw this year, or at least a decent portion of them, we've already talked about on the podcast, so it's really not like we need to go that much more in depth with it.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think we saw generally the same movies. I know Derek and I have seen, there's like maybe 2 movies each that we haven't seen that each other saw. And Alex, I think there's one movie you saw that we didn't see, but there's probably
that I know
a couple.
I'll mention, but
yeah, there's probably a couple that Derek and I saw that you haven't seen.
there's probably a few because I tend to not go look at and watch movies that have poor reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, where we just kind of go see a movie without. But yeah, a lot of the time I used to just wait until I heard what the reviews were, and then I wouldn't go see it if it was bad. But yeah, so I know there's probably a few.
Alright, so I think that the way we're going to do this, I made up a list in order, worst to best, of the movies that I saw this year. We're going to go in categories of bad movies, great movies. If I mention a movie that you've seen, chime in. And we're going to give a super brief... here's the way I'm going to do it, is I'm going to give it my percent rating, and I'm going to briefly explain why I gave it that rating. Does that make sense?
And then how are we ranking them? So is this just an episode of your list that we are like giving our opinions on?
No, because you'll chime in. So here's the way I'm going to do it is we're going to start with movies that were bad.
Right.
Okay, so I've got 3 movies on my list that I deemed bad.
Okay.
So if there are more movies that you thought were bad movies, chime in then and let me know what yours were. And if it's on my list somewhere else, I'll say what my percent rating for it was and where I put it.
Alright.
Okay. So, I'm going to start with... I saw 19 movies. The number 17 on my list is The Nun. I gave The Nun a 20%.
That's your lowest one?
No, that's not my lowest one.
You said 19, that was 17.
Yes. So, I'm doing this one a little bit of reverse order. Is I'm going to start at 17 and work my way to the worst movie of the year.
That's confusing.
Gotcha, bitch. Alright.
The Nun.
So The Nun, I gave it a 20%. I was really excited to go see The Nun because I really liked the first 2 Conjuring movies, and they had teased The Nun in the second one, and I was expecting a ghost movie, a real creepy ghost movie, and I don't know what the fuck we wound up seeing. It was like Brendan Fraser's The Mummy, except cancer. It was boring as shit. It was not scary in the slightest.
The woman in the seat next to me gave birth.
She had to leave in the middle of it to give birth.
Oh yeah, you said that. She was like...
She was so loud for that first half of the movie.
Yeah.
And then she just goes into labor in the seat next to me and just leaves.
That
was disgusting.
Yeah, my God, it was such a disappointing movie. Probably the biggest disappointment of the year that I saw. Because I had some high hopes for that one, and it really let me down in pretty much every way.
Not the most disappointing movie I saw, but the movie that disappointed me the most is also one that I rather like.
Interesting. Oh, I think I know what one.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie I thought was a big dud.
What percent rating do you give it?
I don't.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't give my movies percent ratings.
You're making this real difficult on me for editing.
It's a dud.
Just
my part.
help me out. And
I didn't piddle.
That's not what
Sounds like a 30% to me.
In this movie, I didn't piddle because I thought it was going to be spooky, scary. I was
Not even the scary piddle.
Yeah, I was actually excited to be scared in this movie because I was like, movies don't scare me anymore like they used to.
The trailer looked scary.
The trailer,
and that's also, this is a movie I didn't watch, and the trailer looked so good.
And
we talked about it, and then I know you guys went and saw it, and then you said bad, so I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend money to go watch it in the theater if you say it's bad.
Yeah, well, because the trailer's scary. The Nun and The Conjuring 2, like, that was the reason that I avoided The Conjuring 2 when it came out. I really liked the first Conjuring, and then I saw that Nun, and I was like, I'm not doing it. But then this movie, I watched it, and I was just like, yeah, this is like a lame action movie. I don't like the preacher is alright, I guess, but I'm like, I don't like any of the characters.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Thaisa Farmiga was fine in it.
Whatever, she's alright.
There wasn't anything
The Nun's
notably bad
hardly
about
in the
her
movie. The only good thing about this movie is the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point. That's why it has higher than a 10%, which the other two bad movies I saw this year have a 10%.
We'll give this one a no piddle from me.
Yeah. Okay, give me a second. So the next bad movie I saw, in my number 18 spot, the second worst movie I saw of the year.
I know what this one's
is gonna shock you.
It didn't shock me.
Really?
It's Black Panther.
It's not Black Panther.
What?
It's Slender Man.
Oh.
As the second worst movie I saw this year, I put Slender Man at a 10%. Yes, I put Slender Man as the second worst movie of the year, and it'll make sense when I tell you what my worst movie of the year is, but essentially the reasoning it's not the worst movie I saw is because I was expecting it to be the worst movie I saw of the year. So, it didn't shock me anyway. I gave it a 10%. It was an abomination of a movie.
Slender Man was a classic. Remember that part when they're banging and then that guy's face turns into the cockroach face? That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's cinematic gold right there. And the trailers for the movie, the DVD trailers, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's so good.
Those are like the most poorly edited commercials ever. The little Instagram ads for it. I will say, everywhere I've gone and looked to the DVD section, I find at least 20 copies of Slender Man because no one ever buys it. I'm always tempted to just bring it home, put it in my collection, for some unexpected.
I think I'd honestly watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With friends, I'd never watch that movie alone.
I would watch it alone, and then I would regret watching it alone and want to watch it with other people.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a movie that I'd want to have so I can be like, hey, have you guys seen Slender Man?
Exactly.
And then you make them watch it.
You just break it out at a gathering of friends.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you've never watched Slender Man? Yeah. Kind of like, you've never seen Rhapsody Street Kids?
Exactly.
Yes.
Right on. It's perfect.
Oh, I forgot. That's not a 2018 movie.
No, it is not.
If it was worst movies I saw this year, in terms of like they didn't have to come out this year, then it'd be Star Wars Christmas. But as it stands, Slenderman was the worst movie I saw this year.
Okay.
It was the bottom of my list.
How about you?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'd
Yeah.
say I think it's probably the bottom. Because again, I didn't see a whole lot of bad movies because I don't watch them when they're bad.
Right.
But
are you also opposed to giving me percent ratings for the movies that you've seen?
I didn't even think about it.
In terms of an objective review, the Slenderman review, where I think I did piddle, I did not piddle in this review. In this re-review, I didn't re-piddle.
I kind of want to give it a higher than a 10% because of what we talked about with, like, you bust it out and you got people over that have never seen it before.
Right.
Because it's not, it's like, it's bad, but it's not so bad that it's like, I'm not going to watch this ever again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we said, I was kind of like a joke. It's like, oh, you've never seen that before? And you make
Yeah,
other
it's a bit
people
of a
watch
meme.
it. Yeah.
Now, before I unveil what I thought was the worst movie of 2018, do you guys have any, like, bad movies? Any other bad movies that you saw this year that you want to put in the bad category?
I'm trying to think of the movies I saw this year. I don't think so.
Okay.
Wasn't Jurassic World pretty bad?
I didn't think so.
Oh, shit. I forgot you saw Jurassic World, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see where you slip that boy in.
Oh, yeah. So am I going to try and force the movies that you guys didn't see that I did see into your list somewhere?
Well, you just put it in a category. Like I said, I've got bad, mediocre, good, great.
Oh, alright.
So you just, whatever you thought it was, slip it into wherever I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
if you want to squeeze it in between a couple movies, give it a spot, that wouldn't be bad.
Okay, so here it is. The number 19 worst movie I saw in the year 2018 is Solo: A Star Wars Story. This is a disgusting piece of film that should be burned forever. It is... Here, I gave it a 10% because, you know, some of the actors in it were pretty alright. Danny Glover. Donald Glover.
Danny Glover would have made the movie a whole lot better.
Yeah.
He fought the Predator.
Donald Glover did a good job as Lando. The guy that played Solo he wasn't the worst. Didn't look a whole lot like Harrison Ford, which first off is an issue.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, but...
That's a stupid complaint.
No, because Danny Glover looked a lot like Donald. Jesus. I got Danny on my mind, because we're going to be talking about him next week.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Donald Glover, he looked pretty much like Lando. I thought he totally made sense. This guy, I don't know.
I just really like Donald Glover.
Yeah, but the guy that played Solo, he was
I
too
think that's
like
an unfair
built.
criticism
he
to
was-
say Alden Ehrenreich doesn't look like Han Solo. When have they ever recast someone that they've looked like the person?
Donald
Does
Glover.
not. Hardly.
He looks fine. Here's what I think is that the guy that played Solo, he was too like bulky. He looked too big to be so like Han. Han was like a lanky kind of dude.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No.
He was kind of a slimmer guy.
He was definitely not slimmer than the new guy. Not at all.
No, the new guy looked... It's not like I'm not saying he's fat. I'm just saying he was bulkier.
No, I know, but like Han
But
was
it's a young
definitely
Han.
buffer than that kid.
No.
But it's a young Han.
Yeah, couldn't you also make the excuse like, oh, he's in his prime right here? He's even more so in his prime.
Yeah, he is in his prime because this is apparently Han Solo's one cool story. This is the biggest issue I have with this movie. Is they were like, Han Solo, he's got some, there's cool things about him. You could tell the story of how he met Chewbacca, or you could tell the story of the Kessel Run, or you could tell the story of how he gets the Millennium Falcon and meets Lando. But instead they were like, what if that was all one story, and Han Solo in his entire life has literally only done one cool adventure up until Star Wars.
Well,
and it's terrible. It's like, Jesus
the
Christ.
clickbait for the sequel at the end of the movie implies that there was a trilogy of awesome events that happened.
That we've never heard of in the rest of Star Wars. It's just Han Solo was literally just known for doing the Kessel Run and that kind of thing, and besides that, he's a nothing.
That's kind of all he's known for in the
its own.
Original.
Yeah, I know,
trilogy.
but like, don't. If you're gonna make a trilogy, then give me a movie about how Chewie meet and make it a big full length story, and then
I
you
don't
know how
think
he
you
gets the
can
money
do
of
that.
Falcon and stuff like
I
that.
think that'd be horribly boring if you do that.
But it ruins the character. Here's the best solution. Don't give me the fucking prequel. I didn't need it. Who cares? The Kessel Run wasn't even all that exciting to me. I didn't think it was all that great. I was like, oh, that was it? That was the Kessel Run? They got attacked by a big squid at one point, I guess. Big space squid.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Interesting. But it was so like, everything Han Solo's ever done was one thing. And then he just like, I don't know, worked with Jabba a couple times.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing. And then, like, you go to Force Awakens, and, like, what's he been up to since he's been, like, the hero who saved the universe?
I think that once...
He's just, like, a washed-up smuggler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
He's, like, in this...
He's all washed up.
Yeah, but
in
he-
this,
he-
after this awesome adventure, what does he do? He goes into being, like, a small-time smuggler.
Mhm.
I don't know why that's such a big problem.
That is a big problem.
Well, that's in character form, though. When we meet him in Star Wars, what's he up to?
Nothing.
Exactly. He's a small-time smuggler. This fits in perfectly. He has one cool adventure, sure, and then he does smuggling stuff. That's what he does for the rest of his time.
That's so...
You can go on heists. It doesn't mean you're, like, not doing fun stuff. Ant-Man was a smuggler, and that movie's pretty cool. He had a great adventure. A tank came out of a wall.
I think that once Disney took over, the character was and dropped into nothing.
Well, yeah, that happened.
He didn't want
all
to do
the
it
way-
anymore.
I know.
All the way back in Return of the Jedi that they ruined Han Solo's character. He's a loser in that movie.
Mm.
He's like the comic relief in that movie.
At times, I guess.
Like most of it. He's like a bumbling fool. He doesn't do anything the whole film.
But think about how that movie ends. Is them like, you know, they're like they just defeated the entire Empire, and he was like an instrumental part in all of that. They like Han and Luke and Leia and Chewie should all be, you know, like monumental characters in this now. And then
They
what does it
are?
turn out? It turns out Luke is. It turns out Leia is kind of. And then Han and Chewie are just like these useless lamos that
How is
show up in
Leia
Force
only
Awakens.
kind of?
But see, if you think that Han and Chewie is not important, then you have to think about what the hell did Leia do? She's boring, right? She doesn't do as much as Han and Chewie in general.
Well, yeah.
So
But-
then you're saying they suck. So
Well, I never
That's
said I liked Leia. I was just saying that they give her a little bit more respect in Force Awakens and Last Jedi than they give Han.
well, I guess partly because he dies.
Well, yeah, but even before that, Leia's like, what is her position exactly?
I think she's general.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
she's-
she's a general in the military.
Yeah, but she doesn't really do much besides sit in the ship.
Yeah, but
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying if you say Han and Chewie aren't a big part of it, then I kind of feel like you have to group Leia in with that because she doesn't do much.
like, I'm talking more status wise. Luke in the new movies is like a legend. It's like the legend of Luke Skywalker. Where is he? Where did he go? What happened to Luke? And then Leia's a general in the military. And then Han and Chewie are just two old men formed. Not even in the Millennium Falcon anymore. But my issue is with Solo. This is
I
not
feel
a-
like it's
this is
weird
not a
that
Star
you have
Wars
so
prequel
much
thing.
issues with this because you don't even like the Star Wars franchise that much. So I feel like you're getting sensy about something that you don't even like personally.
No.
I just find it weird. I would group Solo into a mediocre category. I think it's all right. It's watchable. There's not that much wrong.
2018 list.
Yeah, I'd put it at the bottom of my mediocre. But I also wouldn't
That's
say
fair.
it's bad.
Alex, were there any other bad movies that you saw this year?
I mean, I don't know if it counts, but are we counting any like Netflix movies?
Yeah.
Because Mowgli was pretty bad.
Okay, I knew you had seen that one,
Yeah.
and I couldn't remember if that was a 2018 movie, so tell me a little bit about that one.
It's just a live action of the Jungle Book, but it's not even the Jungle Book story really, and it's not really like a kids movie like the Jungle Book was, where there's like singing and dancing and stuff. All the animals are really mean to Mowgli. Like the bear, what's his name? Baloo, that's right, yeah. He is played by Claw and Smeagol. Mm-hmm. I forget his name now.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah, that's right. And he is just a total asshole the movie. He's like screaming at Mowgli like the whole movie. And he's like, oh, you gotta be better than that. You're not good enough. Stuff like that. It's like, where's this like big bumbling sings and dances and helps Mowgli out and stuff? I mean, the CGI is pretty good. I don't know. It was nasty.
I haven't seen it, but it does have a pretty good cast.
It does though, which is weird. There's I forget all the names, but what's her name that was in Lord of the Rings as the snake?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure which Lord of the Rings characters. I know like
she was the elf, and I'm gonna forget her.
I'm pretty sure Benedict Cumberbatch is the tiger.
Yep.
Nice.
Here, I'll look it up real fast because I'm spacing on all these names.
She might be.
Who?
Scarlett Johansson might be.
So yeah, Andy Serkis. Oh yeah, Christian Bale is Bagheera.
Oh, that's right.
Benedict Cumberbatch is Shere Khan. Kate Blanchett is Ka.
That's Hela from Thor.
Yeah, okay, she's also fucking. Oh, I can't remember her name now. This is gonna really bother me.
Lord of the Rings elf.
Yeah, but that's like Alex's thing. He's the Lord of the Rings guy. He should know these.
I should. I don't know why. The Lord of the Rings guy.
He's dressed up as an elf right now.
Yeah, that's right. She's
like a furry, but with elves.
See, I know like what it sounds like, but I don't want to. Galadriel. That's it. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to be really wrong. But yeah, I mean, so she's done more than that, like you said, she was in Thor, but yeah, they had a pretty crazy cast, considering how much I didn't really like this movie.
You know, I feel like that's the new Disney trend, is live action Disney movies.
This isn't a Disney movie. They had no involvement in this movie.
Okay.
Disney made the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Okay.
But which was good.
The actual story, The Jungle Book, is in the public domain.
Okay.
So Netflix made Mowgli, which is based on the book, not the Disney version. It's based on the book, which is why it's so much darker.
All right. Still, okay. This is a big trend of making things that used to be Disney cartoons into live action with like absolutely amazing casts. But then they just look awful.
Yeah, to cash in on the nostalgia.
Exactly.
Which there's like 4 movies coming out. 3 movies coming out this year.
You got Dumbo. Mm-hmm. You got Aladdin.
Yep.
And you've got Lion King.
Yes. I thought the Lion King looked pretty good.
Maybe.
Are you kidding me?
The CG looked really good.
It's why would I want to go see that? It looks so dry.
Well, here's the thing, though.
I'll just go back and watch the animated
I've seen The Lion King, the cartoon, once in my whole life that I can remember, and that was last year in my German class, so I have no attachment to that movie at all.
I mean, as a kid, I used to really like it, but I don't want to see the live action one. It seems like it's
I'm probably not gonna go see it, but I'm saying it doesn't look bad.
Wait, why do we even call it a live action? There's nothing live action
it's still
about
all
it.
animated.
Computer.
Jeremy Johns made a good point. Do you say we saw Spider-Man in Civil War, or do you say we saw animated Spider-Man in Civil War? He's made to look realistic, so you call it live action.
Fair. I'll give you that. That's.
I almost feel like it needs a new name though, like a hyper-realistic movie or something.
It's just,
like that.
I guess it's kind of weird because it's all like computer generated.
Yeah. Right.
But you're right. It's
more... like with Godzilla movies, with the new ones, I'm not like, oh, I loved the new cartoon Shin Godzilla.
Right. Well, it's not a cartoon. It's
the
just
difference is the fact that I would say about 80% of that movie is actual live-action people. And then you've got the 20% Destruction and Godzilla that are animated, right?
Right, but
this one is straight up.
But
but the Lion King is straight up 100% digital recreation of everything on screen. I don't think there's even a human character in the movie.
Might not be.
No, I mean in the original Lion King, there's not.
Yeah, so it doesn't. But anyways, that's a little off point. But yeah, I just think that they all look stupid, and why would I want to go? I'll give you Aladdin, fine, because that's an almost all human cast anyways. If you want to remake Aladdin, I'm not gonna like cry about that. I don't think that it looks fantastic. And
I didn't watch the trailer.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Will
either.
Smith as the genie looks kind of goofy.
I saw some screen caps of it, and
yeah,
not that it looks bad. It's just like I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll give you that one. Go ahead and make that a live action film. I don't care. But like the Lion King, you have like the animation. The animals are like super expressive, you know, and you can. That's like part of the charm to it is they can look sweet and they can look.
But the reason they're doing it because there's people. Generally, people are like, well, I can't connect with it because it's not like something I'm familiar with. So that's why they're doing it with like the hyper realistic looks.
Is because sense?
I don't know. It's just look it up online. There's loads of people who talk about it.
I connect more to a fake lion that looks real than a fake animated lion, because I'm a lion.
That's
and that's important to me.
That's what people just say. Like it's easier to invest emotionally when you can see them in live action. Do you think in Aladdin when the genie pops out of the bottle, instead of giving the 10,000 years line, he's just gonna be like, "Oh, Fortnite and Marcus Brown."
Yeah, that's hot.
I hope he gives the line exactly like that. He's like, 1,000 years will give you a real kink in the neck.
That's hot.
Oh God!
Also, he's Peter like, Aladdin, what is your first wish? Might I suggest Fortnite?
And Marcus proudly.
I just want to say that also Peter Mullen's in this. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 or 7 big names in this, which is
Mowgli?
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a Netflix original.
Yeah, Netflix actually usually gets big cast. Like,
yeah, well,
Bright had a pretty good cast.
And that's why I wanted to watch it, because I was like, Andy Serkis, we just watched Black Panther and he was in it, so let's watch this.
Oakjaw had a really strong cast. What other ones did they do? The Cloverfield Paradox had a pretty good cast.
I always wanted to watch that, but I always forgot to watch it. I heard it was actually like kind of good.
Well,
we'll see where Derek slips it into the list.
We'll see. Depends on who you talk to.
So, those are the movies that I suggest you do not watch this year.
This year, 2019. Don't watch these 2018 movies.
Yeah. Watch Slenderman with your best friends.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Don't waste your time with Solo or The Nun.
My least favorite movie of 2018.
Okay.
Justice League came out in 2017, but I hated it just as much in 2018. It's actually my least favorite movie of 2019 too.
Okay. Remember that.
3 years strong.
That's how bad it was.
Wow, no movie's ever done that before. Breaking records.
All right, now we're gonna move on to the mediocre category, and to kick that off,
we'll start with Solo.
At a 50%... No, we've already talked about Solo. That's done. That's history now.
It's history.
I gave it a 50% after examining all of the movies on this list. And I gave my 16th place to Black Panther.
I can agree with that.
Okay. I put it in the mediocre category. It's, initially in the last episode, I think I had said that I'd give it like a 70 or so as compared to
I was surprised by that.
So here's what I think it is maybe in terms of like superhero movies, maybe that's where I'd put it.
No.
I feel like it would be
I feel like superhero movies, when compared to superhero movies, that would lower my score.
That's what I was thinking.
Because then I feel like I've seen this done 1,000 times better in the same genre.
Right.
But in terms of cinema in general, I don't have that much of a problem with it. I don't like the movie.
I mean, I've got a couple cinematic issues with it.
I don't like the movie. The CG in the ending is some of the worst CG that I've ever seen in my life.
That's exactly.
And how is it being nominated for visual effects? That is ridiculous.
Did you hear the director of Aquaman full on was like, Aquaman didn't get nominated for a visual effects award, and he was a fucking disgrace. Yeah. I was like, whoa.
I don't know. I don't know if Aquaman would win, but I definitely think it should be nominated.
Yeah, that's what I agree.
Yeah. At least swap Black Panther with Aquaman. Black Panther has the worst visual effects I have ever seen in a non-Justice League movie.
I mean, I'll definitely give it worse in the MCU for sure. I think that.
Yeah, well, when I say worst, I mean like
the Eric Bana Hulk.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like when I say worst, I mean like in the 2010s, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like think back to 2010, we have like Iron Man came out 2 years before and it looked amazing, and then you have Black Panther. You have Black Panther 10 full years later, and it looks so much worse than Iron Man did. It's from Iron Man when you'd watch them, and it's like not finished being rendered yet.
Right.
That's what the ending battle in this movie looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's some great directing in this movie. I think the cinematography is pretty good. I'm not big on the soundtrack, but if some people want to like it, they can. Black Panther's theme song is alright. I like the characters. Some of them are good. I do like Black Panther because I liked him in Civil War, and I think he's alright in Infinity War. I'm not huge on him in this movie. Claw was great. He's real fun. Although every other character, I can't even hardly remember.
Oh, you loved Shuri.
No, I actually forgot she was in this movie. I hate Shuri.
Hey, what are those?
She's my
She actually doesn't do that much.
She's my least favorite MCU character.
But here's the thing I really hate about Shuri is when they put her in Infinity War, they gave her this throwaway line to just to make her the smartest character in the MCU.
That's why I hate...
When they're trying to get the Infinity Stone out of Vision's head, and she's just like, why didn't you try doing each one of them sequentially, or whatever she says.
Yeah.
And Bruce Banner is just like, because we didn't think of that. And I was like, bravo, we've done it, boys. We've officially disgraced, like, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, and they're no longer, like, as impressive. Just to make this one character all that much cooler.
No, that's why I have
annoying.
a problem with Black Panther in general. Is because Black Panther shows up, and it's like, these characters are cool at the expense of the characters you like. That's what it feels like. Is like, look how cool Shuri is, look how smart she is, at the expense of Tony Stark and Bruce Banner. It's not like she's good on her own. She's only good because they put her in comparison with these other characters, which is seen in Infinity War when they have that scene, specifically that scene when they're like, I'm so much smarter than you, Bruce Banner. I'm like hell you are. What have you done? Build some nanotech? Tony Stark did that.
Just built some nanotech.
Tony Stark did that, and the only reason you did it is because you have a magical rock that made everyone in your community smarter.
That's true.
It's like her superpower is being slightly smarter than the average human. Or her superpower is being, like, slightly smarter than the scientist characters. I'm still, like... I don't like how in Black Panther... But it's not a Black Panther problem. It's an Infinity War problem where it's like, our Black Panther characters are cool. At the expense of your characters that you already know and love.
Right.
It's like they don't do that with, like, Ant-Man didn't show up and they're like, Ant-Man's cool because he's better than Captain America. Ant-Man showed up and he was like, Ant-Man's cool. Period. So I don't know. That's where my issues with the characters come in.
Yeah, but my actual biggest problem with the movie was leading up to seeing it, everyone was like, this is like such a it's a superhero story that you've never heard or seen before. And
Well,
I was
here's
like, all right, I'm
the
ready.
thing is I really like the unique setting and like the kind of culture they have and everything.
Yeah, Wakanda's alright. It's not as colorful as I would have liked, but I do agree. I think it's a cool setting, and I think
I thought you were saying that ironically at first.
No, I do like Wakanda. I like the detail they put into it, where they have like actual African like.
That's what I really
stuff in
enjoy about it, and it's kind of the same as Aquaman because you get these really unique settings and everything instead of just like, oh, we're here in New York again.
Yeah.
You know. So
I get that.
I think all that's really cool, and I really like the soundtrack, and I really like some of the actors. Like I thought Killmonger was really cool.
I like the actor.
The best villain in all superhero history.
His motivations are a bit mucky, and everyone who I ask to fully explain them can't because they're unwilling to admit that he's racist, but he is. That's his motivation.
Well, isn't his motivation that he wants to use the like their technology to help.
Black people overthrow white.
Is that what it was?
That's exactly.
I don't think he specifically says black people.
He actually does.
He very much implies that all of these are going to our oppressed brethren so that we can become. So that.
No, that's right. Yeah. Well, okay.
That is his motivation: is to overthrow white people.
I think.
And people are like, well, his motivation is because like, his dad was killed, and so he wanted to take over Wakanda.
That's not true.
What's his main motivation after he does that?
Because I think he mentioned something about other like third world countries. I don't remember though, because I don't remember all the lines. But
right, and
if he says something about oppressed, that's a very general statement. So
well, I know, but you have to think about the politics behind.
Well, and I can't remember if I'm wrong. I'm just saying that like. If he says like just like oppressed or whatever people, that's a very general term that could mean like.
But it's who he's applying it to, it's who he's, and then you can even see it. What's his last line in the movie is basically his last line is like, "Why would I survive? White people suck." When he's like, "I want to die with my brothers. Bury me in the sea so that I can be with my brothers who knew that death was better than bondage." Why did he say that?
Right.
He said that because the political climate this movie was being made in and who it was being aimed at. It's like, yeah, white people suck. Look at what they did thousands of years ago when they had nothing, what the current white people had nothing to do with. Look at what they were like, and they're still like that. It's still what it feels like.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of racism, but there's not slaves, thankfully.
Exactly.
But you're obviously wrong, and that's obviously racist if he. But yeah, I mean, I was just saying.
It would have been the same though if it was like a white character who showed up and was like,
yeah,
let's make sure that the white people can stay in power. I would have still been like,
that's right. I'm not saying that
right.
That's wrong, but I remember exactly. So I mean,
like
but yeah, I mean, he
character.
didn't. Yeah, I mean, he was the bad guy, so
right.
You know,
he is the bad guy, but the problem is that.
He's the sympathetic bad guy.
Well, that's not the problem. He can be sympathetic. I don't care. My problem with it is the way that people responded to the character, where they're like, best villain, most relatable. He actually has a point.
He kills like all these people and like marks himself every time.
Yeah,
he's so relatable.
But people are like, the reason Killmonger's such a great villain is because he's actually right. I'm like, that's not why he's a great villain. He's not right. I don't think we're supposed to watch it and go, oh, I agree with him. Yeah,
you're supposed to agree with Black Panther.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie when he's like, how about we all work together and stop being assholes?
No one does.
I think anybody agreeing with Killmonger is not...
They're
paying attention to it.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Because, yeah, I mean, like... if you know, like, obviously equal rights, sure. He's not saying equal rights. Black Panther's saying
exactly
equal rights. He's saying, to
which is
kill
like,
a bunch of people. Like, that's right.
Which is like, it's kind of my problem with it, is if you're going to make a movie this deep, you probably shouldn't do it in a Black Panther superhero movie, because the general audience who sees superhero movies is not going in there to analyze. They're going in there to turn their brains off. And then when they do that, they're going to become, like... They're going to side with the racist character, and they're not going to realize it. Yeah. Or maybe they do realize. Some of them probably do, but they don't care.
There's always people on either side.
I'm sure some people were agreeing with Claw the whole movie. Like, yeah, let's go take
that was Claw's thing. Just like, I want the vibranium.
Yeah,
the resources.
Because they can help the world with all their technology and stuff.
He was 1800s imperialism is what he was.
Right. Which is funny because in the end... Black Panther does exactly what Claw wanted.
but Claw had the like monetary goals where he's like, I'm going to take it and I'm going to distribute
he wanted a profit
for
it.
profit.
It's
so.
not his to.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
But here's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one I have up on my list, I gave a 60% to, and that one is The Meg.
I didn't watch that one. I didn't realize you guys went and saw that.
Yeah, that'd be around where I'd put it too.
We got it for our dad for Christmas because he loved the movie, and it was exactly what I was expecting. Just kind of really just shut your brain off and watch a shark do things. Even though it was more of shut your brain off and watch Jason Statham do things.
Yeah. Rather
than the shark. And honestly, my biggest problem with the movie is probably Jason Statham, who I think is the most bland, nothing actor I've ever seen. There was nothing really special and fun about Statham. It was like, look, he's muscular.
He's like The Rock
Hey.
with less charisma.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah.
If this had been a movie with The Rock, I bet you I would have liked it a lot.
Probably Jason Momoa. He would have been fun.
Oh, he was fun.
But yeah, Jason Statham, kind of weak in my opinion. Dwight from The Office was in it. He was kind of fun to watch.
Really, Rainn Wilson?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in it. Yeah, I didn't watch this one because it didn't look interesting to me. But
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not the best. Jaws, fantastic shark movie. I thought The Shallows was good. This is kind of like a Jaws 2 shark movie to me. It's all right, but I don't know. I guess I also didn't really feel the scale of the shark. It was as big as it should have been, but in my head, for some reason, I'm like, it should just go up and swallow a whole. But it wasn't actually that big.
That's what's on the poster.
yeah, it looks ginormous on the
But yeah, and so that was kind of lost to me. And my big issue with the movie is I was like, please don't let it take place on this like oil rig the whole time. I know it's not an oil rig, but it's basically an oil rig. I was like, don't let it take place out in the middle of the ocean on this oil rig for like the full movie, and it did. The shark comes to like beach property for about 3 minutes and doesn't actually eat anybody there.
It eats a couple people.
It more of causes havoc by snagging some like things on the dock. But...
Well, that's what my problem with it is. This is like a Venom movie, where actually I think I might put Venom below this one. But anyways, this is like Venom, where it was originally filmed as a rated R movie, and the shark was gonna kill like a whole bunch of people on that beach, and like you'd see him like swallow like 4 people whole at a time.
See, that would have been awesome.
And he would have been like shredding through them. But then they were like, well, we needed to make more money so that we can get the money back for what we spent on the CG. And they cut all the rated R stuff. And I was hoping it was on DVD, but they did not.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. That's pretty much my take on it. It was alright.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't think it was the most like need to see movie of the year. But it was like, I don't know that you're wasting your money if you go watch it once. If you rent it on Redbox for $1, you're probably all right there. But yeah. Any other movies that you guys put in? I've got a couple more for mediocre category, but are there any others that you would put in there right now? Because I'm at the 60-70% range right here.
So I'm curious if
Venom in here.
Yeah, I've got Venom in here.
That's
actually my next movie.
I'm curious if you would put Jurassic World in this area.
No, I'd put it in the very low on the good category.
How about Cloverfield Paradox?
I guess that one might be like top of this category, like very top.
70.
I liked the. No, I actually think it'd like be an 80, I guess. I don't know. I liked Cloverfield Paradox a lot more than everyone else did, because people like they overthink it, but then they don't actually think about it enough. Where they're like, "Well, it's dumb because I don't understand what's happening," and like things are just and then they're like,
"Isn't that kind of the point of like a lot of the Cloverfield stuff? Is like
you
don't understand what's going on.
You're not supposed to really know, but they're like, why is the hand crawling around? Why does this guy explode? And it's like, okay, well, the reason they're overthinking it is in like a hand doesn't crawl around. That's ridiculous. But they're not overthinking it in terms of like if you actually map out the multiple universes that clash, because the movie is about they turn on like a particle accelerator that warps 2 universes or like 4 universes
like the Mist.
into one universe. So it's like all of the universes are like overlapping, which is like a wall will appear and cut the guy's hand off because it warped in from the other universe or whatever. That kind of thing happens in here. And they're like, well, why does the hand crawl around? It's like, well, because it's from an alternate dimension. It's not actually his hand. His hand's in the wall. But it's like, I don't know. I think people don't think about it enough. And because it's a very obvious explanation of just like, yes, this is clearly one of the things from the other dimension. We have a giant monster running around from another dimension. And you're like, well, I don't get it because in my experience, someone doesn't have a bug in their eye. Like, yeah, obviously, I don't know. I think this movie's pretty cool. It's got a great cast. The ending twist isn't very good.
I don't know that I recognized anybody from the cast, or I can't think of anyone.
Baron Zemo is in it from Civil War.
Excuse me, from The Mist, wasn't he?
I don't think so.
Which one was Baron Zemo?
No, Baron Zemo from Civil War, the bad guy.
The guy who's like, you killed my family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's nothing to me.
I
don't even think.
He's
about
one of my favorite
man.
MCU villains. I liked him in this movie. Monk from Kong Skull Island is in here.
Don't know which one that is.
He's one of the Landsat guys with the briefcase.
Okay.
Who else is in this movie? There's a couple people in this movie that I saw that I was like, oh, I know them.
I gotta look it up real fast. I have it
now.
here. What? You're still talking about Cloverfield Paradox? There it is. Yeah, this was one that I definitely meant to watch, but
Zaya Zhang is in it. She's in Godzilla vs. Kong and King of the Monsters.
Yeah, you know, I really don't recognize like anyone on the cast up until like the very end. Radio voice, Simon Pegg.
I don't recognize any of these names really.
There's a guy from Gotham in here. Yeah. I don't really. That cast doesn't look very. Like,
I recognize them. I recognize them, and they're pretty good actors. But yeah, I thought this movie was good.
Well, to get back to my mediocre category, next up I put Venom, which we've already extensively talked about. I gave it a 70%. It was an alright movie. It felt like a hollow shell of what it could have been.
Yeah, I'd put it below the Meg, but yeah.
And then last night I watched a movie called Hotel Artemis, which I gave a 70% as well. And it's about a hotel. It's actually a hospital that was made into a hotel that was made into a hospital for criminals to stay in the near future when a big LA riot goes on. And a bunch of these criminals wind up going there for the night. And it's got a pretty, amazing cast, actually. I'll pull it up so I can talk about it a little bit. You've got... The main nurse was Jodie Foster from Silence of the Lambs. Sterling K. Brown was in it, who we all remember from The Predator. He was...
The Predator.
No, he was not. He was the agent trying to catch the Predator. Then you've got Sophia Botella. She was in Atomic Blonde.
Oh, she's the mummy.
She was. Jeff Goldblum has about 2 seconds of screen time in the movie and was fourth on the billing. Zachary Quinto, Charlie Day, Dave Bautista, they were all in it. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. It wasn't the best, most standout movie of the year for sure, but it's fun. It's mostly fun just to watch the actors in it. Because, Dave Bautista's got a lot to do in it, and he's a fun guy to watch, and Charlie Day's in a pretty decent amount of it. The small cameo appearance, essentially, of Jeff Goldblum was alright.
That's kind of what he's been up to lately, though.
Just making little appearances and things. Like
Jurassic World, he has one scene that they split up throughout the full movie. This movie, Thor Ragnarok, he's in, but he's not in it a lot.
He definitely had a bigger part in Thor Ragnarok, though.
Yeah, he has a bigger part in Thor Ragnarok than he does in Jurassic World, too, but at the same time, he's not in it a lot. He's in, 4 minutes of screen time total.
Yeah, but, there was nothing, super shocking about it. Essentially the whole cast dies in the movie, aside from a few people. But it's fun to watch all the actors go around, so I put it in the more upper portion of my mediocre category. I'd watch it again. But I know you guys probably didn't see that one.
Mm-mm.
But the next one, I know we all saw it and we all talked about. I gave The Predator the final spot in the mediocre category at 75%.
Okay.
Actually, now that I think about it a little more, I think I'd put Cloverfield right here between Predator.
Between Predator and what?
Whatever the last one that I knew was.
The Meg? Your list would go...
Yeah, I guess.
The Meg, Cloverfield, and then the Predator.
I guess.
From worst to best?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I liked Predator more than I liked Cloverfield, but also Predator wouldn't be above any of the other ones that I saw.
Which sucks because there's so much good about the Predator, but there's like one thing that I know we all have an issue with, which is the fucking kid.
That kid.
Just take the kid out and it jumps like 10% up.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Seriously. Fix that shit ass ending of the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Um,
But we already reviewed The Predator
so
for an
much.
hour and a half already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Any other mediocre movies you guys saw? Because
No.
now we're in the transition to good movies.
This is where I'd stick. Well, depending on what your next one is. What's your next one?
My next one, which I gave an 80%, is Aquaman.
Oh, I'll hold off on mine. Yeah,
Okay.
Aquaman.
Do you guys agree that that's in the good category? Or
Yeah,
would
I
you
agree it's
move
good.
it
Yeah, I
somewhere
think
else?
it's good.
Alright, yeah.
I think we said enough about it that it warrants a good
Yep.
category.
Go listen to last week's podcast if you want to hear more about why Aquaman is in the good category.
And then what?
And then at number 10, I gave an 80%, but a higher 80% than Aquaman to
81%.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay. Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp is alright. It's not one of my... It's kind of like a mediocre MCU movie where, like, it didn't blow me away, but also it didn't stick out as bad.
So
I
would
liked
you-
it a little less than the first I actually liked it a lot less than the first Ant-Man, but I'd put it like where I put Guardians 1 and 2 because I'm not big on those movies. So I don't hate it at all. I think it's funny, but
Would you
I don't
put
know.
Ant-Man and Wasp above or below Aquaman?
I'd probably put it below Aquaman.
Well, okay. I debated about it. I was kind of back and forth on it. It was the superhero movie of the year that kind of slipped through the cracks.
People call it like people say it was not successful at the box office. That is some BS. It was still like one of the top 10 grossing movies of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did. It wasn't one of the talked about ones for sure.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the first one, and I thought that this one missed a bit of the mark. It maybe made Scott Lang a bit too goofy.
I didn't have that problem.
I think I've only ever seen it once, though, so I may be misremembering. I know that Civil War made him way too goofy.
Yeah, he's fixed from Civil War. He's not like that.
But yeah,
Goofy things happen to him, but he's not like a goofball.
I thought it was a good, kind of wholesome superhero movie. I liked the stuff with him and his daughter a lot in the movie. It had a lot of heart to it in that sense, I think.
I like his friends. They're funny.
Yeah, they were maybe the too goofy.
They go a bit too hard on the truth serum joke.
Yeah, that's right. There's a couple things that get a little overplayed in this movie, and then there was some like kind of weak plot twists in it, like Janet Van Dyne still being alive and stuck in the quantum realm and stuff like that. But
My biggest problem with this movie is the trailers spoiled everything. Like nothing in the movie was new from the trailers. The fight scenes we'd already seen all of, so I was not excited the whole time.
yeah, but this is a problem with the way you do things. Is you pay too much attention to trailers. I swear, I never focus on trailers ever.
I just watched them.
It ruins the movies if you like watch them too much. But you didn't see that one, did you, Alex?
No, I didn't watch the first Ant-Man. It didn't seem interesting to me. But
I liked the first Ant-Man a lot. I thought it was a funny movie. Do you like Paul Rudd?
Sure.
I like Paul Rudd a lot, so that helps that he was in it. Alright. Now, right around here, Derek, is where I'm assuming you're going to put
That's
Jurassic
where I'd
World.
put Jurassic World, probably.
Yes. Explain.
The second half of the movie I really like when they're in the spooky mansion, and the dinosaurs chasing them around. The first half of the movie on the island when it's exploding is pretty boring, and I don't like it. Chris Pratt should have died thousands of times, but somehow doesn't. There's like a scene when he touches lava with his bare hand, and because he's just that badass, it doesn't affect him at all. And he like outruns a volcano exploding. The first half of this movie is dumb. The visuals are great. The directing in this movie is really cool. But like the soundtrack falls flat. The only character I like is Chris Pratt and the little girl, which is surprising because I never liked child actors. The teenage cast is horrible. They're horrible, and I hate all of them. They never die, which is disappointing. Other than that, like, I don't know. The ending of the movie I really do like. I really like the second half of the movie. This is the first half that I disliked. But there you go. It's a mixed bag, which is why it's not high up. I'd put it probably above Aquaman because I'd want to watch it again. Aquaman's one where I probably don't need to see it again. But I'd like to watch this Jurassic World again. Then right above it is where I'd stick Rampage.
Oh, Jesus. I forgot you saw Rampage, too.
Yeah.
There's one other movie that I figured you would have put in earlier, but go ahead.
No, right above it, I'd put Rampage right here. Rampage is a lot of fun, but it's a kind of turn your brain off movie. It's like the definition of a popcorn movie, so I can't... It's not like I'm going to be like, oh, I loved it because it worked on multiple levels. It doesn't. It works on the level of, like, if you're willing to accept that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, can get shot point blank and then walk it off, you're good to go. But if you're, like, going to see, like, a movie that presents itself as real, this is not the one for you. But it's pretty funny. Great action scenes, although there's not many action scenes, surprisingly. I got the guy who plays George is pretty cool. Got to interview him, so that's always a bonus. And that's here. What's your next one?
My next one is on your list for sure, so I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, well then right here would be where I'd slip Pacific Rim Uprising as well. Most disappointing movie I saw this year, but I still liked it. The reason it's most disappointing is because I loved Pacific Rim from 2013, and then Pacific Uprising came out, and it was just not anywhere near as good as Pacific Rim. So it disappointed me on that level. In terms of repeat viewings, I enjoy it. But the first time I saw it, I was disappointed in it. The reason it's higher than, like, Rampage and Jurassic World, the only reason it's higher, and I said this in my own video on it, is because it's one of the few movies that when I watch it, I really do want to make videos. Like, I want to start video essays, and, like, it inspires me to make videos. The other ones don't, which is why I put it higher up. But in terms of just like a movie on its own, I'd probably put it much lower. It'd be in the mediocre category if I didn't have that other aspect with it. But there you go. Pacific Rim Uprising.
Well, my next one we've all seen, we've all talked about it, and it's going to be controversial to Derek. But I put Ready Player One as my number 9 movie of the year.
And this was my number 3 movie of the year.
I knew we'd be a bit off on that one. You put it in your great category.
I put it in my great category.
Yeah. I mean, the leap between Ant-Man and Wasp and Ready Player One is pretty significant, I think. Like, my 9 through 1 could all be great movies. But, you know, I kind of toyed with it a little bit, and I put Ready Player One as my second highest good movie. But, I mean, we've talked about it. You can go listen to that episode of the podcast if you want to hear more on it. Is this where you'd put it? In the good, great, mediocre?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Derek knows more about it because he read the book and everything. Mm-hmm. I still thought it was good. I don't know. I didn't really think about where I would, like, individually rank them. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I would definitely put it either on the somewhat lower great or higher good. It's pretty good.
All right. Now, Alex, I don't know if you saw this one. I know Derek saw this one with me. My number 8 movie was The Incredibles 2.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally forgot I saw this movie. Yeah, this one would
Did you see this one?
I didn't because Megan didn't want to.
Yeah.
Didn't want to see it?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
This one's in my mediocre category.
Okay.
I didn't like it all that much. I think it's not as good as the first one. The ending with the boat is real dumb. Like, it's not exciting. You're not on the edge of your seat. There's no real danger with it. Because it's like, what could go wrong? The bad guy supers on the boat are going to fall into the water. And then once they do, they get their glasses off. And then they're good guy supers. So who cares? Like, there's no stakes in this. So, like, I think the beginning part I think all the things with like, Mr. Incredible having to raise the kids is really funny. I think the stuff with Elastigirl being a superhero, that's all pretty cool. They do a great job with the superpowers, showing off all the creative ways to use them, but then the ending of the movie is real dumb. So I'd put this in mediocre.
When I was sitting in the theater watching this one, aside from being taken out of it by the kid who was absolutely terrified while watching this movie, I was really into it. I mean, recently superheroes have become a massive thing in movies. You know, the last 10 years, it's been the decade of superheroes essentially, and not that I'm not getting worn off of genre. I'm always excited for the next one, but there is that element of stale that comes into it. You know, you see the same story told for every character. The Incredibles is such a different story because it's like, you know, superheroes have been outlawed and they're not allowed to be supers anymore, but I just thought it was like a super, super fun to watch and interesting movie about superheroes. And
I think the first one is.
I liked this one more than I liked the first one, I think. Aside from the ending. The ending of the first one I liked a lot. The ending of this one was kind of the, like, throwaway ending where it was like, yep, that's how it goes. But everything from the start until the last, like, 20 minutes of the movie I thought was fantastic. And I was just sitting in the theater feeling like a kid, like, just loving everything that I was seeing. I thought that was a great movie. And I do not fall into the category of, like, super nostalgia where it was like, oh, it's the new Incredibles, they're finally doing it. Because as a kid, I liked the Incredibles, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is my favorite movie I've ever seen. I never got into it that much. That was Toy Story and Jungle Book and Bug's Life for me. But yeah, Incredibles 2 I thought it was a great movie. I liked it a lot. I would absolutely recommend you go see that, but are there any other movies that you guys would put in the good category?
No.
No?
Everything else from here on is greatness?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where I would put 8th grade that I watched. Because I think it's probably really good for people that relate to it more. Because quickly, it's just about, like, this 8th grade girl who's moving into high school, and it's all these, like, problems that she has to deal with and stuff. And I think a lot of it was kind of relatable, but since it's a girl in the recent, like, years, I can't relate to all of it, because first of all, I'm not a girl, and then second of all, like, there's a lot of her struggling with, like, social media and stuff.
The boys are just way too obsessed with Fortnite and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I know the principal does dab in the movie, so.
Oh no.
It's not. It's like an ironic dab.
Gotcha.
I think. I'm trying to remember. But I mean, yeah. And when I was in 8th grade, I think I had a Facebook that I never used. So, like, I can't relate to that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of good things about it, and there's a good soundtrack. And even though I can't relate to it, all of it, like, directly, I think there's some parts that really made me go, like, oh man, that's like. But yeah, there was a lot of people that I, like, suggested this movie to because I was really curious about what they thought about it. But yeah, I don't know. And I like Bo Burnham. He did a good job directing this movie. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's on my, like, movies to watch list. I couldn't find it when I went to the store.
It's hard to find. Yeah.
Might be one that I have to get on, like, iTunes or something.
I just think people should watch it. Because I'm curious how people relate to it, if they do.
Alright. Now, the next movie on my list, that is the first great movie I saw this year, with an 85% I gave to A Quiet Place.
I think that's exactly where I put it on mine. Was, close to, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see this one?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Won't say much, but thought it was real good.
It's a very, very different and unique movie for sure. And I think the element of tensity was lost to me. I never felt tense during the movie, but we also had an audience of people that were talking the whole time, essentially.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
So if I was watching this, like, late night with a couple other people just really into the movie, I think it would have been that much better, but I still thought that it was a great movie. Love John Krasinski. Emily Blunt did a good job. Both of the kids were good in it, I thought. I didn't... Like you say, when you hate child actors, a lot of the times I do too, I thought they did a fine job for the movie.
Yeah, they did really well here.
Yeah.
They didn't have any dialogue to flub.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's where I'd put A Quiet Place. Next up is another movie I saw just last night, which is Bohemian Rhapsody. I also gave that one an 85. Did you see that one?
I didn't see this one. It felt like there was some mixed feelings when the trailers were coming out about it. Like, I think part of it was like accuracy and then like overhyping and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's one that's kind of on my list to see. But
I think it lived up to the hype. I felt... So the beginning of the movie moves quick. It's like...
They kind of jump right into his career?
So he, like, goes to see a music show, and the band playing, they go, after the show, one of the guys quits the band, Freddie walks back, and he's like, hey, I'll be your new singer. And then it just, like, jump cuts to, like, 5 years later. And they're like, all right, we're going to make an album. And the album's going to, we're going to find someone to produce the album. And then they have someone produce the album, and they're on TV. And this is, like, in the span of, like, 5 minutes in the movie. And, it moves snappy. But the movie really focuses more on the, like, kind of second half of Freddie Mercury's life when he's... experimenting with his sexuality. And it's a super emotional movie. It's like, if you really get into it, it's fantastic. It does a really good job conveying the sorrow behind him and all that kind of stuff. But it also does a good job of making him, more than a sympathetic, like, oh, I feel so bad for that man. You feel, you're proud of kind of the way he ends off and everything. But I did look into the things that the movie gets right and wrong, and I also looked in the thing that I watched, they also talked about the fact that the surviving band members saw the movie and approved every change that was made for it. But there are some pretty big things that it does to, give it a little more emotion. Like, the band breaks up in part of the movie. That never actually happened.
Oh, really?
They took a little bit of a hiatus at one point, but they were still technically a band.
Just kind of like a break.
Right. Yeah, so I thought it was a fantastic movie, though. And, I mean, when your soundtrack is Queen music...
Yeah. I guess it's got to be really good for, like, Queen fans and stuff.
And they actually do... Essentially, the end of the movie is, like, their entire Live Aid performance, which was a lot of fun to watch. It's really good.
Yeah, but remember when they did the Flash theme song?
Yeah.
Did they talk about that in the movie?
No.
Well, then it's not a good representation of Queen, because that was legendary.
Well, sitting in the trailers for Queen, I saw one for a movie called Rocket Man about Elton John.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen anything on
I've seen screen caps of, like, the actor that's supposed to play Elton John.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look a lot like Elton John?
Not at all. Did you think he looked... It's the main character of Kingsman is playing Elton John.
The kid?
Yeah. And he looks young through all of it. And I thought it was a horrible casting choice. I want to see it, though.
Isn't Elton John in Kingsman?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the trailer and I was like, I might go see that, but I really think that they missed the mark on casting that kid as Elton John.
Maybe Elton John suggested him.
Could be.
From Kingsman. Yeah, he was in the second Kingsman.
Mm-hmm. And, I'd be a little more okay with it if it was from Elton John himself saying, I want this kid to play me, but I still think that he just looks way too young. He doesn't really fit the part. But
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm
that
looking
they
at
make
some
a
pictures.
biopic of someone who's still alive.
that's what I said too. I was like, that's weird that Elton John's like still alive and they're doing this. But all
Yeah.
right.
This is where I'd sandwich a double movie in.
Uh-oh.
I forgot that I technically didn't see. I think I didn't technically see Godzilla Planet of the Monsters until 2018. I might have seen
Was it
in
a 2018
2017.
movie?
It came out in 2017
Then
in Japan.
Get it off my effing list.
In Japan. It might have come out in America in 2018.
Oh, because we're ahead, so
Yeah, time zone
time
difference.
That's exactly why.
It's summer over there right now, so they're like
yeah. So we're
6
6
months
months.
They're 6 months behind. They got Infinity War so early. They spoiled the snap. But I think I didn't see it till 2018. So I put the first 2 Godzilla animes here. The only reason I bring that first one up is because in my top 10 that I did on my channel, I said, yeah, I put the second Godzilla anime right here. People were like, whoa, you like the first one more. Why wasn't that on the list? I was like, well, because it came out in 2017. They're like, but did you see it in 2017? And then they got me thinking, oh, shoot, did it come out in America? When? But anyways, I sandwiched the 2 Godzilla animes here from
Alright.
Netflix.
Well, I can tell you that the last 5 on my list we've all seen together, but we've not talked about all of them together. In fact, we've only talked about 2 of them. My number 5 movie is Deadpool 2.
Okay.
I gave it a 90%.
Oh, that one came lower on my list. That one's a good movie.
That's a good movie to you?
Yeah. Because I think it suffers from sequelitis too much. I don't think it's as funny as the first. I think they try and redo too many jokes from the first. The only reason I like it as much as I do, because I'm kind of sick of Deadpool at this point. I think he's a little annoying. I really
a lot of his fan base is really annoying.
I like whenever he gets serious, or like whenever he's more serious. He doesn't need to be like a serious character, but I like when he's more serious. Like when the ending of the movie. Did you see Deadpool 2?
Yeah, we all saw it together.
Oh yeah,
We had like 15 people go see that one together. That was a huge deal.
Like the Deadpool death scene towards the end, I really liked. I liked whenever he was with. I liked the Vanessa stuff.
Yeah.
Like whenever he's a little bit more serious, I like it. I like him a lot more than when he's like obnoxious. Cable is the reason I put this so high. Cable and X-Force.
Yeah, Cable's awesome.
I thought X-Force was hilarious.
X-Force, yeah.
I think
And Cable was
Peter?
awesome. Yeah, I put it as good.
I thought it was great. I liked it more than the first one. They did reuse some jokes. But overall, I think that the reason I like them reusing the jokes is because I think I'm going to watch it. And so I'm okay with them reusing the jokes because I'm not going to see them as many times in the first one because I'm going to be watching the second one more.
I think the action is better.
I think the action was better. I thought the story moved faster in Deadpool 2 because Deadpool 1 was a lot of backstory. You know, like the whole first half of the movie. Well, I didn't have a problem with it either. I liked Deadpool 1. But I think I like Deadpool 2 more because I think it moves quicker and I like the characters more. I like Deadpool a lot. In the second one, I like Cable a lot. Colossus was pretty much the same from both movies, but...
Chris Colossus.
Yeah. So that's where I put Deadpool 2. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I agree.
You like it?
Yeah.
Alright. Next up, in my number 4 spot, I put Halloween.
Yes.
Okay.
You seem hesitant on that one.
I would have put it higher on my list.
I would put it higher.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was number 5 on my list.
Really? I really liked a lot of things about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing for me was like the rated R kills was just so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Like that I mean there's some issues with it, like sure, that's fine.
That head stomp is the best.
Exactly, yeah. And I went to go see it again with my dad, and like we don't go out with my dad to see movies and stuff very often, but it was like, oh, like he would really like this movie. And it was just so fun to watch him like in the theater, like see all the cool like rated R kills, and he doesn't expect it and everything, and I'm like, oh, you just wait till the head stomp.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's those like kills, and for the reason that I'd watch it again like every year around Halloween, and why I put it so high up.
I'm definitely gonna watch this one a lot.
Oh yeah.
Every year.
So
it'll probably be part of a weird trilogy that I watch of like 1, 2, and this.
Trilogy makes no sense.
That's why I said weird trilogy.
I straight up might just skip the first one from now on.
And go straight here.
I've seen it too many times. I might just watch.
I might
my
skip
favorites
Halloween
from
2
within.
from now on. No, actually, you know what? There's 4 that I'm gonna watch every year.
Halloween 1, 2, 3, and this.
Halloween 1, 2, 3, and this one. I can't forget Halloween 3 anymore. That's a classic.
Next year, I think I'm gonna just do like the shit trilogy of like Part 6,
Oh,
Resurrection,
no.
and Halloween 2 Rob Zombie version.
That's terrible. I still never finished that Rob Zombie Halloween 2. I'm like an hour into it and I can't finish it.
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't know. Well, this was really fun to watch in the like Dolby theater.
I'd imagine.
It was, yeah. I mean, like at the beginning where he pulls out the mask and he's screaming at him and it cuts to the title card. I got chills. It was so cool.
Dolby cinemas are always so good.
I know, and I don't know. It was and bringing back the nice classic theme. It was just so awesome. But yeah, that's my take.
So where?
I'd have to think about it more because I didn't really like individually rank them.
Mm-hmm.
But what number did you say this was?
That was my number 4.
It wouldn't be like number 1, but maybe like 3. I don't know.
All right.
I think 3.
So it goes 5, 4, 3.
Yeah.
My next one, my number 3 at 95%, I gave Into the Spider-Verse.
Which was my number 2.
Would you put Halloween above or below?
Wait, you skipped your number 4? Oh,
My number 4 was
Oh,
Halloween.
I put Spider-Verse above Halloween.
All right. We've talked a lot
Quite a bit about
Into the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse on another episode.
Yeah, so we'll
Just so
like
good.
it.
So good.
Yeah. And the reason it's so high up is it's a very fresh superhero movie. There's really none others like it.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you guys if you watched Bandersnatch.
I have not.
Okay.
Don't
I
think
wouldn't
I've
put it-
heard of it.
It's the Black Mirror interactive
Oh
one.
no, I didn't see that.
I wouldn't put it like top 3, but yeah, it's really good. It's really
Is
fun.
it? You like it?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you think that the format worked?
As far as what?
Like the
choose your own.
adventure.
It's, I mean, the whole thing's really cool because it's like self-aware, because he's making a game based on a choose your own adventure book. So the whole thing is just like, I don't know, it's really cool.
Gotcha.
Way to do it.
I heard 2 problems with it that I heard was like, the first problem I can understand, where it's like, they say it's not like a good movie because it doesn't hold your attention, because apparently there's like 10-second pauses every time you have to make a choice, and if you make a choice right away, it'll still give you that time to choose. So it's like, it's always a 10-second pause, but how are you going to get around that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The other problem I heard with it, which I don't think is a problem, I think it sounds awesome, is like, the differences between choices usually in a choose your own adventure is like, they go right on a path or they go left. If they go left, they get there 10 minutes sooner. If they go right, they wind up late for dinner. In this one, it's like, you go right or you go left. You go right and your dad doesn't have a heart attack. You go left and your dad turns into a demon monster after having a heart attack. So it's like the choices are so entirely different that it's like, one universe, it's like alternate universes basically, where it's like one universe, you wind up fighting a demon. The other universe, you wind up selling your game.
Yeah, there's so many different endings, and I haven't seen them all, but I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not a problem.
I wouldn't think that'd be
Yeah.
a problem. I think that makes it, because then you could rewatch it.
Right.
Well, that's the thing is they bring you, when you get to an ending, they bring you back to a checkpoint. So then you get to choose this other path now instead of that one.
And I heard that you can redo your decisions if you don't if you feel you messed up. There's a way.
Well,
to
yeah,
redo
you
it.
can rewind.
Yeah. Oh, is that how
But
you do
basically,
it?
that's the thing. You get to the end, and then you go back and you choose the other path. So that's how you kind of redo, I guess.
How many decisions are there? Is there a lot?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like 10 seconds decision, 10 seconds decision.
Right.
It's still like chunks. But like there can be a lot. I guess it depends on the path you choose and stuff. And there's some pretty crazy like different decisions. Like there's so like there's really different endings depending on what you choose sometimes.
Did you make it to the Scooby-Doo ending?
There's a Scooby-Doo ending.
No, it's a Wayne's World joke.
Oh, I haven't seen it in a long time. But anyway, yeah.
So that's in your good section of movies?
Yeah, I think I think it's something people should try out, and maybe not everybody would enjoy it, but you get to get different endings. So
yeah, I'm interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm on my final two. At number 2, I put Avengers Infinity War.
That's my number 1.
Yeah, I know that's your number 1. This is probably the reason that Halloween is higher up on Alex's, huh? Do you put Halloween above or below Infinity War?
So it's... I don't want to put... Because I said, Halloween is like 3, maybe? I don't want to put Infinity War at 4, but I think I liked Halloween better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I didn't really think about the individual placements.
Right.
Is because it's really good, but I don't want to make it seem like it's not as good by putting it at like number 4.
Right.
But I haven't even thought about what 1 and 2 would be. So I mean, I know what I would put Spider-Verse as either 1 or 2. I really, really like that one. Yeah. It was really cool.
But that's my second. Oh no, wait, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't watch your video.
It was my number 2. Ready Player One was number 3, I think. And then Spider-Verse was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Infinity War is
what we've all talked about it. We've talked
Everybody
about it,
knows everything about it.
We didn't talk about it.
We haven't talked about it specifically, but we've mentioned it in loads of different episodes.
And we'll get to it at some point in the not too distant future.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a great payoff for 10 years of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Great ending. Yeah, I loved it.
Yep.
Great soundtrack.
And at my number 1 spot
is my number 4
I know what it is.
spot.
I know what it is now.
Yeah, it's my number 4 spot.
My favorite movie of 2018 was Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yay! That was supposed to be the Kickstarter episode for the podcast, but it never wound up.
The reason the podcast was made in the first place was to talk about Mission Impossible, and we've not done it.
Is that really why we started the podcast? Because I wanted to do a podcast on Mission Impossible?
Pretty much.
I know we watched the other Mission Impossibles, and we like talked about it so much. We're like, we should just record what we say.
Yeah.
Cause, yeah. We had a lot of stuff to say about Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what did this movie not have?
I was very pleasantly surprised with this movie. Not that I thought it was going to be bad, but it was just so much better than...
I mean, we literally sat down for an 8-hour day watching 5 other Mission Impossible movies. And it was like, what new things is this going to bring you? But, man, it was so satisfying. Such a great movie. The action sequences are, like, second to none. They were... action stunts. I can think of other movies that do certain types of action better. I think hand choreography, like Captain America Winter Soldier does better, and I think that John Wick does better, but...
The Henry Cavill bathroom scene?
That was a great one, for sure.
What I really liked about that scene was in the trailers, you were like, oh, Henry Cavill's gonna beat up Ethan and whatever, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this movie had a lot of chase sequences in it, I realized when we were watching it again. It was like every other action scene is a chase scene. Did you notice that?
Mm-mm.
I
can really only think of one.
I wouldn't say it's like a bad thing, but I noticed it.
I can just think of one long one. It was like it started out in a car, and then it wound up...
In a motorcycle?
Yeah, on a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess maybe because it's incredibly long, and then it winds up on a boat, and then there's a helicopter at the end, a helicopter chasing. But like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just found it interesting that there's quite a bit of the movie is dedicated.
They just put
to
you in
scenes.
one of each type of vehicle.
They had to. They did that.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
They didn't have a plane. Oh, they didn't have a train either.
Way to go, Alex! You ruined my face.
They almost covered their bases.
In the whole, if you're talking about the franchise as a whole, they had all three actually.
Yes,
So,
done them all. But
I was gonna say at least they had the planes, but then I thought about it, and they did in fact have a train, also. So.
yes, I more have meant land, air, and sea in this one movie. Were all utilized, but
There's a foot chase in here also.
Yeah,
He winds up on foot.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at some point in the future, we will talk about Mission Impossible, and at that point, we will explain why this is the best Mission Impossible.
Whenever the
movie.
next one's coming out.
But,
there's just so many good there's really good practical effects.
Oh yeah.
yes.
And there's just really great camera work, and I don't know.
Tom Cruise is a fucking man. My God, the things that he does.
As an actor, not as a person.
What, you don't like Scientology?
I love Scientology. I'll tell you what.
Doesn't he want out? Didn't he say he kind of wanted out?
No,
Yeah.
he's pretty heavily invested in the
He
church.
wants out now because his family left him.
They left him?
They left him. His wife divorced him and took the kids.
Oh.
Because he's too into Scientology. So he was
Anyway.
he said he wanted out. Yeah, but he is one of the greatest stunt actors modern day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He does some really impressive stunts.
Mm-hmm.
You think he free climbed the rocks for real at the end of the movie? Because I bet he did. I think that he's an actual free climber.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet
there was a rope involved.
I bet there was some tricky camera work going on too. I mean,
Probably made it look big.
Yeah, and a little bit of animation. And green
in
work.
Mission 2 when he's climbing the rocks at the start, he is on a harness. They just you really think he's gonna do that jump from rock to rock in real life, and they're gonna be okay with risking his life like that?
He did it in this one across 2 buildings, and he snapped his ankle.
That's true, but he was also on a harness when he did that.
Well, I'm sure there's safety precautions, but I
there has to.
Can't let Tom die.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you can't let anybody die, but yeah, I mean, even with that, it's still really impressive.
Yeah.
But the ending is a nice it throws you for a loop for a few seconds.
Oh yeah, you really do. It really does
God.
trick you. It doesn't actually last as long as I thought it did.
Yeah.
When we watched the movie
In theaters.
in theaters, I definitely remembered seeing a mushroom cloud, but then it wasn't actually in the movie. It's just a flash of light.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just what an adventure it is too.
Yeah.
It takes you everywhere.
If you're wondering, podcast viewers, Dalton picked Infinity War as number 1.
Yes, guaranteed.
There's Dalton's list.
There's one movie long. It was Infinity
Dalton's
War.
list is, I liked them all, except I didn't really like Slender Man. Oh,
Really
Infinity
great.
War, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Which one has Captain America in it? That was my favorite. We're not making fun of Dalton.
We are.
Okay, we are.
He's like my favorite scene. He's like my favorite movie of the year was Black Panther, but just the post credits. Because I had Bucky, and that reminds me of Cap.
So Derek's was Infinity War's number 1. Mine was Mission Impossible, and
I might want to say that Spider-Verse was my number 1, but I can't. I didn't individually rank them.
yeah, that's fine.
I just got some top ones.
I just didn't want.
Spider-Verse. Yeah, I really enjoyed Spider-Verse.
I didn't want to feel like a dick. That was my list was also their lists. I wanted to make it clear that we had different opinions. I just
We definitely
in a way to
did.
organize
We
it. This is
definitely
just
did.
the way I went with.
Mm-hmm.
But the movies I'm itching to see again the most. Actually, the one movie that I want to watch again the most on my list would be Halloween.
Well,
I
that's
think
the
so,
thing
too.
is I want to watch it again every Halloween. It's not I'll just throw it on in March. I mean,
like
but
wanna
I
watch
could,
it right
I
now,
could,
kinda.
but yeah.
Like, I kind of watch, like...
It's still not out on DVD. We have to wait 10 more days. It's
I
driving
know.
me crazy.
Like, you could watch it, like, year round, but it's
Yeah.
just, like, when Halloween comes, it'd be like, put that in
that would be
Halloween
a
on.
good one to
It's
watch.
time.
Throw that bitch on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also say it's probably the one I want to watch again the most, but it's also like the one that I haven't watched again. I think I only saw it the one time, so
Yeah.
like pretty much every other movie on this list I've seen twice, aside from like Spider-Verse, 2 or more times essentially, or Slender Man.
Most of the movies on my list I've seen. I guess on the top 10 list, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen most movies twice.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Actually, I don't know. It's probably 50-50 the more I think about it.
I think almost every single movie on my top 10 list I've seen at least twice.
Spider-Verse, Halloween, A Quiet Place. I have not
No.
seen those twice.
Actually, that's not true, but I've seen a lot of them recently. Yeah, this is a moot point at this point. Doesn't matter.
Oh, you know what my favorite movie of 2018 was?
What was your favorite?
I'm changing it. My favorite movie of 2018 was YouTube Rewind. It was hot.
Hot. Hot.
It was hot.
I would want more Fortnite.
And that's the podcast.
I will do it for this week's episode. Ask questions first before the outro.
What's your favorite movies and your least favorite movies?
Rank
of
all
2018?
30 movies that you saw this year. How many aliens out of one Predator did you give the Predator? Something like that.
How many Peter Parkers out of Miles did you give the Spider-Man?
Is Miles better than Peter, or is it like... I give 0.1 Peters out of 1 Miles, which is the entirety of 1 Miles. It's basically 1 Miles out of 1 Miles, because everyone likes Peter more. Oh, what is that? It's the side of the screen that has the playlist for the podcast.
How'd that get there?
Yeah, that's on the wrong side this week. That's weird.
And then on the... You're not going to put it on the wrong side. And on the other side, what is that? Oh, it's last week's episode. Oh, go check it out. It's about Aquaman. It's about the Aquas, the fish boys. And in the middle, it's the subscribe button.